Hello, welcome. I am super excited that all of you are here for our very first Edmonds College Paying for College event. We are just excited that you've come and really happy that we'll be able to share information about financial aid and the different programs that we have on our campus that help to make college affordable. My name is Alicia Malahan. I'm the Executive Director of Financial Aid at Edmonds College, and we have the majority of our financial aid team just right over here. So what we're planning on doing tonight is doing some presentations about funding, the options that you have, financial aid, scholarships, grants, and we'll be having each of our departments that can help you not just pay for college, but make it affordable. We'll have each of them doing a brief presentation. Once we're all done with that, we will move into just tabling, and you can come around and ask questions. Any questions that you have, we are here for you. I really hope that that's what you leave tonight knowing. We are here for you, and we are here to help make college really affordable. Not just something that you do, but affordable. And if you have any questions, you can definitely reach out to me. So we'll be going with our workforce program, and then we'll move into a really helpful College Success Foundation presentation, and then moving into some of our individual departments. We are also hosting a couple of events that are upcoming. I strongly encourage you to participate. We have a FAFSA, WASFA 2024 through 2025 application workshop. We will be here on campus and able to help you with your application for financial aid. Whether that's FAFSA or WASFA, we are here for you. You are all welcome. We have the QR code, so if you'd like to sign up, you absolutely can. Please feel free to grab that shot. We also are going to be helping with the FSA ID. One of the big changes to the FAFSA financial aid application this year is that you must create a login before you're able to do anything else. And that must be done at least 1 to 3 days before you plan on submitting the FAFSA. So we will be able to help with that, and we do have an event specifically for that, where myself and our team will be here to help you. That is on the next slide, and I just want to make sure you all get this. I also have all of the information so that you can contact our Edmonds College Financial Aid. And I want to just be really, really clear with all of you. I went to college only because I received financial aid. I got Pell Grant, Washington College Grant, Washington State Opportunity Scholarship. I did work study, I did loans. I took advantage of every single grant that was available to me, and I also understand what it's like when the only way you can go to college is by doing that. So I am just absolutely here for you, anything that you need. And I did get my bachelor's degree. I also got my master's. So it can happen. I just want to reassure you of that. If you are planning to go to Edmonds College, we are more than happy to help you. If you are not, we'll help you too. I'm going to just go back one slide, and we're going to have Kim Waller, who is the outreach specialist for workforce programs, let you know about those programs. Thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone. I hope you're all settled in and eating your food. Thank you so much, Alicia. I think it brings home the good values that the college, our mission, we really do want you to feel safe, included, and part of that is working alongside you to make college affordable. So one of the departments I want to talk to you about is the workforce funding programs. So we're recognized with the state and community technical colleges. We are a department that has dedicated case managers. We are located in Gateway Hall, so a little bit off the journey of main campus, but we're next to the Linwood ice rink. So workforce funding programs, we are state and federal grants. We essentially have 4 various programs. The first one being worker retraining. Worker retraining is primarily for folks who are laid off or experiencing a layoff. They're folks that are collecting or have exhausted their unemployment benefits, and for folks who have displaced homemakers and veterans. Can you hear me okay? Okay, thank you. The next one being Work First. So Work First is a grant that helps students who are receiving temporary assistance for needy families through DSHS, and that they have approval from their case manager. I should reiterate the main point of workforce funding programs is that they help pay for some tuition, books, and childcare. So there are eligibility requirements. I'm going briefly over some of them. So we have worker retraining, Work First, and we also have basic food employment training. So folks that are on food stamps or SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Program, that they're receiving that assistance, they can get help with some tuition, books, school supplies, and childcare. The last grant being Opportunity Grant. So this program helps low-income Washington residents train for high-wage, high-demand careers by paying for 45 credits for college tuitions and fees up to $1,000 per year towards the cost of books and school supplies. So workforce funding, we have our table in the corner. Miss Susan, who is our Opportunity Case Grant Manager there, she has some flyers. So the simplest way to get enrolled in this program is to scan the QR code. We have the QR code right here in the corner. So take a flyer, scan it with your smartphone. It's a 5-minute survey that's free, and like a Harry Potter sorting hat, it'll let you know which house you're in. I'll let you know if you're eligible or not. I do want to bring attention to a few other opportunities that workforce funding helps with. One is the City of Edmonds College Rescue Plan. If you qualify for this, you can get up to $5,000 per year if you're a city resident with an Edmonds college. You do have to suffer a job or wage loss, and it does have to be towards specific education programs. Those education programs are Washington Aerospace Training, Advanced Manufacturing Skills, Ed2Go online programs, professional and technical short-term certificates. Again, there is another QR code. If you are a resident of the City of Edmonds and you qualify, you could potentially be awarded $5,000 per year towards your education and living expenses. Another program we have is non-accredited. It's called Solid Foundations class. So it's a class that teaches you different soft skills, helps you set goals, helps you build confidence. It helps you manage stress and anxiety. It also helps you connect to a lot of community resources. It has different dates. These classes are online. The next classes that are happening are from March 25th through 29th. Again, these classes are non-accredited, but it's a good way to kind of dip your toe in the water, get acclimated to the college environment, network, meet some people, and get connected to Penny, who's a really dynamic instructor within Snohomish County. And then way to get started, we have Penny's contact at the bottom. And then another piece that's also important with these state and federal grants is you want to make sure your education qualifies within, if you're BFIT, Opportunity Grant, worker retraining, that your program of study is accurately being funded. So we do have a chart that you can take a look at just to kind of scan. But the big piece here is to just start. So do start the next quarter survey. We share with what Alicia said is that we want to make college affordable. We have case managers here. I'm an outreach specialist. We have Susan here. We have a lot of folks on campus that really want this to happen for you guys. So if it's out of the scope of workforce funding, there are other scholarships on campus. There are other opportunities within the community. So as you're going through these programs and these systems, reach out and ask, what else can I do? So Just want you to know that we're heavily invested in your success and your success being here on campus. So come over to Gateway 106 and meet some of the workforce funding staff. And don't forget to visit our table. Thank you.
All right. Good evening. My name is Bree Olesen. I work for the College Success Foundation, and we are a local nonprofit. We're statewide as well, but we support students in getting to college. So while I do not work at Edmonds College, I'm here to talk about really just like the basics of financial aid. I was a first-generation college student, so I was the first in my family to go to college. When I was in high school, if someone was to talk about grants, I'd be like, I have no idea what that means, right? Or I didn't know what scholarships were out there. So my job now is I get to teach the public about the basics of financial aid and how to make college affordable. So super excited to be here. I am a college-bound regional officer, so I support high schools to make sure that high schools get all of the information that they need so that they can support their students with financial aid completion. I support the Northwest and Peninsula, so I have a large region, but super excited to be here tonight. So I'm going to talk for the next few minutes. I'm going to go over just basic financial aid overview, the types of aid, how to apply for FAFSA or WASFA, and then after you submit the FAFSA or WASFA, what happens? Because it's not just like you submit the application and woohoo, you're at college, right? It's a process. There are multiple things, multiple processes that you need to be doing. Okay, so your goal is to get to the first day of college, whether it's spring quarter, right, this April, whether it's summer quarter, fall quarter, you're going to get there. And I like to think about when you're getting started at college, I really like to think about it in kind of two pathways. The first one being the admissions track, right? So if you're in high school, you are completing all the correct classes to get to high school graduation. You're doing all of the extracurriculars. You're getting your GPA up, right? And then you're applying to college. And some of these, apply to when you're going to university, but whether you're going to a college or university, you're having to submit that admissions application. More for universities, right? You're looking at the letters of recommendation, personal statements, potentially you're ordering transcripts because maybe you're transferring already from one college to another. And then after you apply to college, then you're starting to enroll. So that process of, meeting with your advisor, attending new student orientation, ending up registering for classes, buying textbooks and supplies, right? So I kind of think of that as the admissions track. And then there's the financial track, right? So there is first researching, exploring the colleges, exploring the majors, exploring the different costs that are out there. If you are still living with parents or guardians, right? Having that conversation of, what is expected. Are parents going to be contributing financially? If not, right, then exploring financial aid. So I'm going to talk more about the process of how to apply for financial aid, but as well, right, after that, there's always scholarships. So I tell high school students, right, your last semester, your last few months of high school, your senior year, you should make applying for scholarships your part-time job, right? If you get one scholarship and you spent an hour on it and you get $1,000, I promise you, you will not be making $1,000 an hour when you graduate. So highly recommend high school students especially make applying for scholarships that part-time job. So, right, there's these two tracks and you're completing them simultaneously, right? You're doing them at the same time while you're getting ready to go to college. Tonight, we're just focusing on this financial track. So know that you will have the admissions steps and processes that you will need to be doing. Tonight, we're just focusing on that financial track. Okay, so, right, you get to class registration, you register for classes, and then there's a bill involved, right? There's costs involved with going to college. That can include tuition, fees, textbooks, supplies, transportation, housing, food, and other personal expenses, right? So we're talking about how do you pay for all of that? I like to think about, I use some analogies, so you'll hear some analogies tonight. I like to think about when you're funding your education, you're thinking about it as a puzzle. We all wish there was just one piece to finish a puzzle, but that's typically not realistic for a lot of families, right? So you're putting multiple pieces of the puzzle together, right? That can include maybe you have some savings, maybe you're going to work throughout college, maybe you're going to be doing work study, I'll talk about that. Maybe you'll be receiving grants or scholarships, potentially you have to take out a student loan. Maybe your family has military benefits that they want to transfer to you as a student. Maybe yourself, you have military benefits, right, and other assets. So know that there are multiple pieces of the puzzle that you're putting together to fund your education, and know that that is normal. Having all of these different pieces to bring it all together is normal, okay? Okay, so the funding puzzle. So work study. So work study is a program that allows students to work on or off campus to earn money. So it's like working for the college, getting a paycheck from the college. What's really great about work study is that because you're working for the college, they understand school comes first, right? So they're going to work around your school schedule. So that is just one of the many benefits to work study. Grants. I know we heard a little bit about grants earlier. Grants are a form of gift aid, meaning grants do not have to be repaid as long as, right, you're passing the classes, you know, but typically grants you do not have to pay back, and those are based off of financial need, which is shown through your financial aid application. And we'll talk about how to apply for that. Scholarships. So scholarship is money awarded based on potentially different academic or other achievements. There's so many different scholarships out there. There's identity-based scholarships. There's scholarships off of GPA, maybe sports involvement, your extracurriculars. So there are a ton of scholarships. I'm not going to be talking about specific scholarships, but know that you have all of these people here to help you tonight to answer all of those questions. And then as well, student loans, right? Most people have heard of student loans. Student loans, you do have to repay back, and we're going to talk a little bit about the specifics of that. Okay, so I'm going to go into each of those. I'm not going to be talking very specifically about each of them, but just to provide examples of each. So the federal grants. So one of the main federal grants that is out there is the Pell Grant. And that is a federal grant that you have to apply for the FAFSA, and we'll talk about that, the FAFSA application. Another grant, state grants, are the Washington College Grant. So that is one specifically for Washington State students to go to college in Washington. So that's something you can't use outside of Washington compared to the federal Pell Grant. That is something that you could use outside of Washington. The award amount for the Washington College Grant does depend on your family income and size, right? And all of that information you're going to be ending up putting into the FAFSA or the WASFA application. As well, another grant that's out there is the College Bound. A lot of people know it as like a College Bound scholarship, but really it's like a grant because it's you may get it when you apply for the FAFSA or WASFA. The College Bound, what it does is it guarantees that your full tuition is covered. And it works in combination with the Washington College Grant and the federal Pell Grant, right? So it's just another piece of that puzzle within your financial aid package. The College Bound scholarship is specifically for Washington State students, and you become eligible for it in middle school. You actually sign up for it. So that is something that you may still be eligible for. So talk with a financial aid representative about that. Work study. I'm not going to get too into the weeds with work study, but something that I highly, highly recommend is that when you're filling out the FAFSA or WASFA application, it's going to ask students, would you like to be selected for work study? Right? And most students are answering that question before they may even know what work study is. And I just recommend just answer yes. Just because you're putting yes on your FAFSA or WASFA application does not mean you have to accept work study, right? It's just saying, yes, I could be interested or I could be eligible for it. So work study, right, is just like a job. So while, yes, you could get work study, you do have to apply for work study just like a job on the college campus. It's just like applying for a job. Okay. Student loans. There's a few different types of student loans. Subsidized loans versus unsubsidized loans. How I like to remember it, and hopefully this will help all of you, unsubsidized means uncool, right? Because the unsubsidized loans, they accrue interest immediately. So while you're in college, they will start accruing interest. The subsidized loans, the government pays your interest while you're in school. I, as a first-generation college student, did not know that, right? I took out both subsidized and unsubsidized loans. That's what I had to do to be able to get my bachelor's degree. So know that just because unsubsidized is not cool, know that you may have to take out both, right? So to be eligible for subsidized and unsubsidized loans, you do have to apply for the FAFSA, or the WASFA application. As well, your loan amount will depend on dependency status. So if you're an independent versus dependent student, I'll talk about that, as well as the cost of attendance, so how much the college is going to cost. As well, there are annual limits per year. So know that like financial aid is not going to say, yeah, you can take out $100,000 in loans. No, right? There are limits and there are requirements and steps in order to take out student loans. Another student loan that is out there is the Parent Plus loan. So this is where the parents are borrowing money for the student's education. Okay, it is not required. So some parents, right, they're like, nope, education is on you. Other parents are like, yes, this is how, I want to be able to support you, and I will take out a Parent Plus loan. It is credit-based, so you have to do a credit check. And then as well, there's always private loans. We really recommend that as being like last case scenario, right? Because that's through your bank or other institution. Typically, they have higher interest rates. So know that, private loans are really last scenario. Okay, that was a lot of information, I know. Okay, when you're thinking about this puzzle, right, and you're like, well, which puzzle piece should I be using first? Right? Think about it like in this pyramid, where first you want to be seeing if you get grants, right? The money that you are gifted where you do not have to pay back. Best type of money, right? We don't want to pay that back. Then you want to be looking at scholarships, right? There are so many scholarships out here. The foundation will be talking about their scholarship that they have here. Then you want to be looking at work study, right? Can you be working while you are attending college as well, right? Having that conversation with family, parents, guardians about, right, do they have savings? Are there any costs that you can pay out of pocket? And then looking at loans. Okay, so I just talked about the what. What is financial aid? Let's talk about the how. How do you apply for financial aid? I know when I was in high school, I heard a lot about financial aid. I heard FAFSA. I was like, what do those terms mean? right? So when we are talking about the financial aid application, we are talking about the FAFSA application or the WASFA application, and I'll get into the specifics of that. But how I like to imagine it, another analogy, is the financial aid application, the FAFSA or the WASFA, is like this golden key. It's the first thing that you have to do in that financial track to open the door to all of these opportunities, okay? So know that if you are planning to go to college, you will be applying for the FAFSA or WASFA. It's just that first step to determine if you are eligible for grants, potential scholarships, work study, and more. Okay. Washington State is amazing. We live in this amazing state where we actually have 2 financial aid applications. And remember, it's the rule of one. You don't get to apply for both. You're only applying for one. Washington State, they have the WASFA application, which is the Washington Application for State Financial Aid. So if you are undocumented, if you do not have a social security number, we want you to know that in Washington State, we still want you to go to college. Right? So you would be applying for the WASFA application. If you are a U.S. citizen, if you have a social security number, you're going to be applying for the FAFSA, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. And I'm going to talk a little bit about both of those. So know that, just remember, the rule of one. You're only applying for one of them. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about dependency status. So if you are under the age of 24, you will likely be a dependent student, meaning you have to provide your parent or legal guardians information on your financial aid application. If you're over the age of 24, then you'd be considered an independent student, meaning you don't have to provide your parents' information. If you are under the age of 24, and if you have your own dependents, so if you have kids, if you're married, if you were potentially homeless or unaccompanied, there's other circumstances, if you're in foster youth, you may be considered an independent student. So please, if you are if you're thinking you're under the age of 24 and maybe that's you have one of those statuses, talk with a financial aid representative. They would be happy to answer your questions and talk through that. So if you are under the age of 24, you're like, well, I live with my grandparents, but they haven't legally adopted me. Are they considered a parent, right? That would be no. They are not considered a parent unless they have adopted you. So when you're looking at who is my parent, know that it's either your biological or adoptive parents, grandparents, foster parents, legal guardians, right, are not considered a parent in regards to the FAFSA or WASFA application. Okay, something else that a lot of people get confused about is you are applying for the FAFSA or WASFA application the school year that you're going to college. So, for example, right now, we are in the 23-24 school year. You are going to be applying, if you're planning to start in the fall quarter, you're going to be applying for the 24-25 FAFSA. I know, it sounds like way far in the future, but know that you're applying for the 24-25. If you're looking at spring quarter, like if you're trying to start within the next month, that is still on the 23-24 FAFSA, so you'd be applying for that year. If you're looking for fall, you would be applying for the 24-25. The 24-25 FAFSA is based off of 2022 tax information, so it does go back 2 years. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the FAFSA application. I like to think about it in 3 processes. First is you're preparing for the FAFSA. You're going to be creating your FSA IDs. Alicia talked a little bit about that. Second is then you're actually going to be submitting the application. And then it's processing the FAFSA. So you don't just submit it and then it goes into magic land and then you're done, right? It's a process. There are typically additional paperwork or things that you need to be checking off when getting ready for your first day. Okay, so when you're preparing for the FAFSA, student, and if you're a dependent student, parent Both need to have FSA IDs. An FSA ID is just your username and password for FAFSA. So student and parent. Parents, you're going to be called a contributor. I know. You're going to be called a contributor. So know that. Student and parent need to have an FSA ID. When you are creating your FSA ID, you are putting your social security number in there. And so what federal student aid has to do is they have to verify your identity. So that's why it takes 1 to 3 days for your FSA ID to be verified. So know that before you start the FAFSA application, right? Do your FSA ID, create it, wait 1 to 3 days, wait for your identity to be verified, then you can get into the application. When you're creating the FSA ID, this is the information that you will need. Students, if you're applying for the FAFSA application, yes, you will need a social security number. Contributors, so parents or legal guardians, if you do not have a social security number, that is okay. Your student can still apply for the FAFSA. So do know that. If you have any questions about that, talk with financial aid representatives tonight. Okay, and then you're going to ask which parent needs to have an FSA ID. So if parents are married and they file taxes jointly, only one parent needs to have an FSA ID. If in any of these other situations, it will depend, but if parents are not married or do not file taxes jointly, then yes, both parents will need an FSA ID. This is the website. Make sure you're going to federalstudentaid.gov. Make sure it's not .com, right? It's a government website. It is a federal application. You can see there the 2425 FAFSA. You're going to click on Start New Form. If you have to create an FSA ID, you're going to click on Create Account. If you've already done that, you'll log in and start that process. So if you're a dependent student, so student has a section as well as parent has a section. So something to know is that in the student section, it's 5 sections. In like section between 1 and 2, it's going to ask for contributor info, so parent info. That's where you'd put the parent's information. It asks for a parent social security number. And then once the student finishes all the way through section 5, signs and submits it, then it will send an invite to the contributor, where then the contributor can accept that invite, submit their section, sign it electronically, and then it gets submitted. Do know that students and parents, you do have to provide consent for the Federal Student Aid website to get your financial information from the IRS website. So you do have to provide consent. You have to say, yes, I approve in order to move forward with the FAFSA application. I know that's not how consent works, but you do have to provide it for the IRS website. Once you submit the application, you're going to get a FAFSA submission summary. It's going to look something like this. Right now, Federal Student Aid is kind of holding all of the FAFSA applications. So if you've already submitted the FAFSA application and you haven't seen this page yet, that's okay. Probably within the next couple of weeks, you'll be able to log back in and see your FAFSA submission summary. In your FAFSA submission summary, it's going to have an SAI, which is your Student Aid Index. And what that number is it's the number, it's like the answer to the equation that FAFSA just did with all of your information. And that SAI will determine your federal student aid eligibility, so if you're eligible for grants. Some scholarships, some external scholarships may ask for your SAI, your Student Aid Index. So if you're applying for a scholarship and ask for that, that's where you can find it. Okay, I'm moving quick, I know. Okay, the WASFA application. So this is the Washington application for state financial aid. Again, you're only applying for one, the FAFSA or the WASFA. Same process, you're preparing for the WASFA. You're going to submit the application, and then it's processing the FAFSA after. You're going to create an account, just like the FAFSA application. It's going to take you through some questions. It's like an eligibility questionnaire just to make sure that you are filling out the correct application. You are supposed to be filling out the WASFA application. You are going to create your account, sign in, confirm WASFA eligibility. It's going to ask for some questions. For some reason, you may have a social security number and be applying for the WASFA. If you have any questions about that, talk with your financial aid representative. But if you have a DACA or an ITIN number, you can be putting it into that application. It's about 9 sections long, so pretty simple application. And then if you are a dependent student, know that at the end of your application, it will ask for your parent's electronic signature. You just have to click that review and update. So very similar to the FAFSA application. It's asking very similar questions and information, just a different application. Okay, so you submit the FAFSA, you submit the WASFA, now what? So after you submit the information, in the application, it's going to ask what college or colleges you would like your application sent to. So that's where you would search Edmonds College, right? And then what happens is once you submit the application, then it will get sent to Edmonds College or wherever you decide to go. Typically, you'll receive an email within a few days from Federal Student Aid or FAFSA or WASFA letting you know that your application has been processed. So just keep checking your email. One thing I want to add, high school students, if you are still in high school, do not use your high school email address when you're creating your FSA ID because you will lose access to your high school email once you graduate. Right? And every year you go to college, you're submitting a new application, right? So you'll need access to that email after. Okay, so from the college or university's financial aid office, your college might request additional information from you, so make sure you're checking your email and responding by their deadlines or requirements, okay? That's really, really important. You will receive an aid offer, or an award letter from your college, and your award letter is the summary of what you will be receiving to go to college. So that would include if you're eligible for grants, it will show the grants. If you got a scholarship from them, it will show the scholarship. It will show if you would like to take out student loans, the maximum that you can take out. Know that you do not have to take out the full amount. Let's say you do the math and you're like, I only need an extra $1,500 to go to college, right? But they offer you $5,500. You only have to take out that $1,500 that you may need. You don't have to take out the full amount. And then once you decide on the college, right? So you're decided on Edmonds College, then you need to formally accept the school's aid offer. I do not work at Edmonds College, so you should be talking with your financial aid representatives about that, where their financial aid portal is, and how to accept that. The College Success Foundation, we are offering a separate virtual session for you. It's an award letter review, so if you want to learn how to read an award letter, reading in between the lines, how much is gift aid that you don't have to pay back versus what is the amount that you would have to pay back. So if you would like to learn more about how to learn about award letters, we have that session. And then that is all that I have for you tonight, and I'm going to hand it over to the foundation. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ciela. I work for the Edmonds College Foundation. We are essentially the fundraising portion, the arm of the college. So we get private donations for scholarships and other things. But we offer every year over $200,000 in scholarships. So you should apply for them. They are open. Just checking what I had up there. So those are the key details about our scholarships. The application period is still open. It closes this Saturday, 11:59 p.m. That QR code on the next slide, I have a QR code on the next slide that will take you to our website that shows a lot more information. You can read the rubrics, you can see all of the process about how our scoring works and what the application looks like. And I will also have a QR code for the application as well. It just takes you directly to the website where you apply. An important thing to know about our application is that you only need to fill out one application and you get applied to over 50 scholarships. So rather than having to pick and choose every single one, figure out, am I actually eligible for this, and then apply and fill out another scholarship application, you're filling out one application. And the system we use, it's called Award Spring, will do the work of actually applying you to the ones that you're eligible for, that you read the qualifications. So that's really great. It makes it a lot easier on you and on us. The number of scholarships awarded varies every year. It depends on the amount of funding we have, but each scholarship is worth anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000. So like Bree said, there's not a job that you'll get that will pay you $1,500 for an hour, maybe 2 hours of work. So it's definitely worth it. You have to complete everything by the deadline, and we can, that is the important caveat, is that you can only use our scholarships. The Edmonds College Foundation scholarships can only be used at Edmonds College. So something important to know is that prospective students can apply. And if you are a prospective student and you're deciding where to go based on how much money that you might get from a financial aid package from various colleges, this can be part of that. We try to get the information out May or June so that you can make that decision. You don't have to be a student here already to apply for our scholarships. You do need to be either enrolled or going to be enrolled in a degree program, so certificate, AA, or bachelor. And minimum 2.0 GPA. Most of our scholarships have a slightly higher minimum than that, at least 2.5, but our bare minimum baseline is 2.0. And if you're not going to be in the Running Start program, that's the final qualification. So if you're currently a high school senior, you are in Running Start, but you're graduating in June, and you're going to be attending Edmonds or somewhere else. If you're going to be attending Edmonds, you can still apply. It's just as long as in 24, 25, you won't be in the Running Start program. And that's most of the basic information I wanted to get out there. Again, the scholarship application closes on March 23rd. That's this Saturday at 11:59. So that QR code there will take you to, I believe it should take you directly to the application website. It's called Award Spring. I also do have a table in the back with some of the information on some papers, and I can also help you create an account on Award Spring right away, and we'll send you a password reset link, so you'll just be able to log right in. You'll just create a password and log in and get started on your application right here. I mean, not from my computer, but we'll create you an account so you can get started when you get home. Thanks, everyone.
All right, we have Trio who is coming up soon, and it'll be just a moment for them to get here. So I am going to share a little additional information. As far as Edmonds College specifically, one of our main goals is that you are able to go to college without taking out loans. So if you do plan on attending Edmonds College, we will not offer you loans. You can ask for them specifically, and we are happy to help you with that. But our goal is to get you those grants, the gift aid that you don't have to pay back, to get you those scholarships, to get you into a work-study position, so that when you graduate, you are not having to pay back money. That is one of our main goals here. We also, Bree spoke about the award offer letter, and I just want to let you know other schools might require you to accept that. Our school does not. We assume that if we're giving you some free money to go to college, you probably want that. So just so you know, if you do attend our school, you will not need to accept your aid offer. The other thing I just wanted to mention from what Ciela said, our Edmonds College Foundation will help you with scholarships if you're attending Edmonds College. If you do happen to go to different college or university, they will have something similar there as well. Okay, it looks like Trio's ready, and I don't know who's going first, so they will introduce themselves.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kimberly Morgan, and I am the Director of TRIO Student Support Services. And TRIO is a program that's funded through the federal government. It's a grant program, and we provide wraparound services to students who are either first generation, low income, or that have a disability. And I'm not sure what happened to the rest of our wording there, but and we have 3 programs that are run out of the TRIO Center. So the TRIO Student Support Services and Passport and Men of Color program. But these are not coming through well. Let's see. Well, we're missing a couple slides, but I'll just share with you. So our comprehensive wraparound services are, we provide personalized one-on-one tutoring, educational planning, you get early registration so you can get into your classes, career counseling and development, we have workshops to help you fill out the scholarship applications or fill out your FAFSA. We can help with things like that. We do advocacy and referrals out into the community support systems. And also we have a study center where we have computers and free printing. Let's see. The Passport program is for students who are formerly in the foster care system after the age of 13 or currently homeless. And the Passport program provides a scholarship up to $5,000 per year. And also you get the wraparound services that are similar to the TRIO services. So the eligibility I told you about is former foster care after the age of 13, but you also have to start going to school by the time that you're 22 and working towards a degree. You have to be enrolled in at least 6 credits. And you can also be, you can be a dreamer on this program, so you can do the FAFSA or the WASPA on this scholarship. And now I'm going to hand it over to Ruby, and she's going to tell you about the Men of Color Scholars Program. Let's see.
Hi, my name is Ruby Hayden, and I am the navigator for the Men of Color Scholars Program. Okay, so the Men of Color Scholars Program is an initiative that provides support, resources, and encouragement to scholars who self-identify as men of color. And the participants in this program will have opportunities, the participants in this program will have opportunities to connect with other scholars, students, staff, faculty, and the general Edmonds College community. And we both have tables back there that if you like, the students that have not filled out an interest form for the Men of Color will be in the back there, and you can fill out an interest form. Thank you.
I do want to let you all know that we set up these slides. There was an error on some of them, and we will have updated slides that I believe we can send to all of you so that you can refer back to this. We also are recording this currently, so we will be able to post this on our website, and you or anyone else that you know who's planning to go to school and needs this information can refer to it, and we'll make sure that it gets fixed for the slides so that you can refer to everything you need. I have one more thing that I'd like to talk with all of you about. So we have very many opportunities for college to be paid for you with different grants, scholarships, work study. You do have the option of loans, but we're trying to avoid that as much as possible, or to be responsible borrowers when you're using that. So I want to let you know, in addition to all of these grants, in addition to all of the questions you can ask about our grants, about financial aid, I'm also going to let you know you can make payment on tuition yourself. That is an option if you go through and the pieces to that funding puzzle aren't quite working. You can make payment yourself. Edmonds College is very affordable, especially if you look at community college versus university. Very affordable. So we do offer just payment. You can make payment. We also offer payment plans. So we have Lisa Kennedy is back in the back corner. She works with our cashier's office. And if you've been listening to some of this and you're thinking, that might work for me, but maybe not quite yet, I'd just like to make payment when I go to school, you are more than welcome to, and you're welcome to ask Lisa any questions you might have about that. We'll also share some slides about exactly how you can sign up for the payment plan. It's currently not working, sorry about that. But once you are an Edmonds College student, you do have the ability to pay for tuition in many different ways. We have lots of different ways to support you. I'd like to remind all of you that we do have a FAFSA and WASFA application help event. You can come, join us. We will be here on campus, and we are here to help you and your family with whatever you need to get that financial aid application submitted. I'm going to bring that event details back up. And at this point, we're just really glad that you've come. We're really glad that you're thinking about what are my next steps for college and how can I do this? And we are all here if you have any questions. Thank you very much.